Welcome to Liberty Lines. I'm Pat Kansor. Today's episode, We Hold These Truths, is the first in a series examining the founding documents of these United States of America. They are the bedrock upon which our republic was founded. Luke 6:48. He is like a man which built a house, and digged deep and laid the foundation on a rock. And when the flood rose, the stream beat vehemently upon that house, and could not shake it, for it was founded upon a rock. We've all heard politicians from both parties pontificate on our democracy. We must save our democracy. We must protect our democracy. Think about this for a minute. How many times does the word democracy, or democratic, appear in the Constitution of the United States? 5? 10? 50? 100 times? That term is nowhere used in our key founding documents, not in the Constitution, and not in the Declaration of Independence, which summarizes the Constitution's premises. The reason for this is simple. Democracy does not achieve what America's founders understood to be the essential purpose of constitutional government. James Madison epitomized their understanding in Federalist 51 when he wrote, "Justice is the end of government. It is the end of civil society. It has ever been and ever will be pursued until it be obtained, or until liberty be lost in the pursuit." Let us first understand what the definition of republic is. A republic, in Latin re publica, meaning public affair, is a form of government in which power is held by the people and their elected representatives. In republics, the country is considered a public matter, not the private concern or private property of the rulers. We will continue, we hold these truths after these words. It is important to understand that the Constitution does not create rights for anyone. It simply serves as a grant of power to and a blueprint for the structure of the federal government. The rights of the people existed before the founding of the United States. You do not have constitutional rights. You just have rights. To protect them, you must understand them. The book, A Republic If You Can Keep It, can help you with that understanding. Available at patsanswers.com/blog. Click on the Store tab. $16.95 plus shipping and handling. All major credit cards are accepted. Buy it today. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the government. That all men are created equal means that they're equally endowed with unalienable rights. Nature does not single out who is to govern and who is to be governed. There is no divine right of kings, nor are rights a matter of legal privilege or the benevolence of some ruling class. Fundamental rights exist by nature, prior to government and conventional laws. It is because these individual rights are left unsecured that governments are instituted among men. Consent is the means by which equality is made politically operable, and whereby arbitrary power is thwarted. The natural standard for judging if a government is legitimate is whether that government rests on the consent of the governed. Any political powers not derived from the consent of the governed are, by the laws of nature, illegitimate and hence unjust. The consent of the governed stands in contrast to the will of the majority, a view more current in European democracies. The consent of the government describes a situation where the people are self-governing in their communities, religions, and social institutions, and into which the government may intrude only with the people's consent. There exists between the people and limited government a vast social space in which men and women in their individual and corporate capacities may exercise their self-governing liberty. In Europe, the will of the majority signals an idea that all decisions are ultimately political and are routed through the government. Thus, limited government is not just a desirable objective, it is the essential bedrock of the American polity. The preamble to the Constitution is a brief introductory statement of the Constitution's fundamental purposes and guiding principles. The preamble serves solely as an introduction and does not assign any powers to the federal government. One aspect of the American system of government is that while the rest of the world now views the United States as one country, domestically, American constitutional law recognizes a federation of state governments separate from and not subdivisions of the federal government, each of which is sovereign over its own affair. The phrase "people of the United States" has long been understood to mean nationals and citizens. This approach reasons that if the political community speaking for itself in the preamble, "we the people," includes only U.S. nationals and citizens, by negative implication it specifically excludes aliens and foreign nationals. Several important themes permeated the completed draft of the Constitution. The first, reflecting the mandate of the Declaration of Independence, was the recognition that the ultimate authority of a legitimate government depends on the consent of a free people. A second fundamental element of the Constitution is the concept of checks and balances. As James Madison famously wrote in the Federalist No. 51, in framing a government which is to be administered by men over men, the great difficulty lies in this: you must first enable the government to control the governed, and in the next place oblige it to control itself. A dependence on the people is, no doubt, the primary control on the government, but experience has taught mankind necessity of auxiliary precautions. The Republican remedy for the disease most incident to a Republican government are basically two: democratic tyranny and democratic ineptitude. The first was the problem of a majority faction, the abuse of minority or individual rights by interested and overbearing majority. The second was the problem of making a democratic form of government efficient and effective. The goal was limited but energetic government. The constitutional object was, as the late constitutional scholar Herbert Storing said, a design of government with the powers to act and a structure to make it act wisely and responsibly. This sets the stage for our examination of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of these United States in further episodes. Contact me at librarian@patsanswers.com with any questions or comments you have. This has been Liberty Lines. I'm your host, Pat Cansor. Join us again next time, and stay tuned for these important words. Visiting Branson, Missouri? Hungry for some authentic Southern barbecue? Big D's strives hard to be the best Branson barbecue and was recently awarded first place in the Best of Branson Viewers' Choice Award for Best Barbecue in Branson. With their friendly service and low and slow cooking methods, Big D's Barbecue prides itself on serving up delicious smoked meats using their own proprietary blend of dry rub spices for full flavor. They smoke their meats low and slow for maximum flavor and tender, juicy goodness. The brisket is melt in your mouth awesome. Try one of their signature platters and combine it with Big D's signature pit beans, smoked corn, or coleslaw. Each recipe has been developed over the years and is an original you'll find only at Big D's Barbecue. Located at 1550 State Highway 248 on the Red Route between O'Reilly Auto Parts and Simmons Bank. Their phone number is 417-337-5100. Tell them Pat Answers Archives sent you. See you soon.